Palm Sunday and Good Friday are the only 2 days of the whole year that we have the whole Passion read to us. I dare not preach on this whole gospel today, otherwise you'll be here forever. But I'll say something briefly about Gethsemane and Calvary. We are told that in Gethsemane, Jesus began to feel a great sorrow and distress. And it's what made him cry out, "My soul is sorrowful until the point of death." And he said, "Remain here and keep watch." The Jesus who is presented to us today is unrecognizable. On other occasions, Jesus commanded the wind and the seas to obey him. He calmed the storms. On other occasions, Jesus told everyone, "Do not fear." Now, Jesus is prey to sadness and anxiety. The reason for this can be expressed in one word: chalice. Jesus cries out, "Father, if it is possible, let this chalice pass from me." And so a whole mass of suffering has come crashing down upon Jesus. The measure of divine justice for men's sins and transgressions. The weight of all the sin in the world weighs heavy on the heart of Jesus like a giant rock boulder. The philosopher Pascal, who was a good Christian, he said, in a certain sense, Christ is in agony in Gethsemane until the end of the world. We must not abandon him during this time. Jesus is in agony wherever human beings suffer and struggle. Jesus is in agony whenever people are suffering from sadness, fear, anxiety, and whenever anyone is faced with a situation where there seems to be no way out. Jesus is there suffering with them. We can do nothing for Jesus who suffered in Gethsemane 2,000 years ago. But we can do something for Jesus now in the agony he experiences today. Every day we hear of tragedies. Maybe something terrible happened to our neighbor, maybe our colleague at work. Maybe a tragedy happened to one of our friends, maybe even to one of our sons and daughters. How many Gethsemanes are taking place right here and now in Van der Bijl Park today? On Calvary, we hear Jesus crying out from the cross. And it's taken from the responsorial psalm that we had today. My God, why have you forsaken me?" And we are told Jesus cried in a loud voice and gave up his spirit. Now, what I'm about to say may at first seem to you like a blasphemy. But please hear me out for the explanation, and then hopefully you'll understand it is not. In a certain sense, Jesus on the cross became an atheist, one without God. Atheism has two forms. The one is active and voluntary, where the person deliberately rejects God. And that is a very great and serious fault. The other kind of atheism is experienced passively through the suffering that a person can go through, to the point that they feel rejected by God because they just cannot bear their suffering anymore. Apparently, Mother Teresa of Calcutta, for a very long time, experienced this kind of feeling. Saint John of the Cross would call it the dark night of the soul. Both forms of atheism, the person is without God. On the cross, Jesus expiated in anticipation all the atheism that exists in the world. Not only for those who are declared atheists, but also those who are practical atheists. Those who live as if God does not exist. By pushing God to the furthest place or the last place in their lives. Our atheism is in this sense. In a certain way, we are all atheists, some more and some less. Those who do not care about God. God is too marginalized today, pushed to the very margins of our lives. Many people do this. Here too, Jesus is on the cross until the end of the world, in all the innocent who suffer. Jesus is nailed to the cross through all those who are very sick, those who are gravely ill. Jesus is nailed to the cross through all the injustices committed to the poor. Apparently, during the Second World War, in one of the Nazi concentration camps, there was a boy who was hung from the gallows. And there was a man standing there looking on, and he knew some of the people standing there with him were Christians. And so he said to them with anger, "Where is your God now?" And someone replied to him, "Do you not see him? He is hanging there from the gallows." Whenever Jesus is taken down from the cross, Joseph of Arimathea stands out. Joseph of Arimathea represents all those people today who challenge the regime and public opinion. Joseph of Arimathea is represented in all of those people who reach out in one way or another to bring compassion to those who are suffering, to bring relief to those who are suffering in one way or another. Every time that we do that, we are like Joseph of Arimathea, and we help Jesus to come down from the cross. We help Jesus to come down from the cross for those who are crucified today. And for all those people who are crucified today, there is a designated and awaited Joseph of Arimathea. And it could very well be me or you.